All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Fruits Basket, Season 1, Episode 13. All right, last episode, we got Akito.
Yep.
We got some comedy. We got some past trauma hinted at with Yuki and Akito.
All together, an amazing episode.
Amazing episode.
One of our favorites. And now, whatever we're going to get into with this one.
Yeah. I think in this one we could potentially have some kind of maybe a focus on like maybe some. I want something maybe with Akito some more, given that he's been like officially introduced.
Right.
Like he formally introduced himself to.
He went to the school, so therefore he's now officially in the show.
Yeah. But maybe some like third-person omniscient stuff that doesn't involve Toru, you know?
Yeah, that would be great.
Maybe something like
that could be fun.
But yeah, other than that, more school antics.
Yes,
I love having
please.
the new first years.
Oh, yeah. Maybe presidential race or something like that.
Like that would be hilarious.
That'd be amazing.
So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, then come back here for the discussion. I love Ayame so
my
much.
God.
I love him
like,
so much.
This show has gotten too damn good at Zodiac character introductions.
Ridiculous character introductions.
Like, holy shit.
How are we going to handle having even more? But now they all have interactions with each other. And then the character dynamics of the complexity of the spider web.
This is why order matters, because all the other character introductions look tame by comparison.
This is true. Even Haru.
Yeah,
was such
that was an episode, right? Like,
no. Ayame comes in. He's just like, oh, am I a Griffith character? Maybe not. Maybe I am.
Sephiroth, possibly.
Possibly. Am I a sex god? Yes.
Definitely.
Definitely. Does Shigure call me his bitch? Yes, he does. And I like it.
And I am a bottom. Yeah.
Yes. Power bottom. Indeed.
Yep, that's right.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I could never have guessed the depths to which they would go to make this character ridiculous and likable. So, the fantastical monologue story stuff aside, the idea of him being Yuki's brother is a nice way to tie us emotionally to the actions that he takes in the story. So, Yuki is a character that we're very invested in.
Yep, especially after last episode.
But just in general, he's a character that we're very well invested in. He's a part of the main trio, you know.
Exactly.
Not the true trio, yes, okay, right? But yes, the main trio.
Yep.
But the idea that when he comes in, you can very clearly see that Yuki doesn't like him, not just because he was inside Toru's clothes or anything like that.
Might still need to have to talk about.
Which is still something to,
to
get frustrated by. I get it.
All right, skin him.
Skin him, yeah.
That was great.
But there was an element of it feeling like Yuki was either abandoned by his brother or his brother just didn't pay him much mind.
Right.
Now, what's interesting is the line that Ayame said about there are things that we see as kids that don't really become clear until we're adults. I totally resonate with that as the oldest brother of a lot of siblings and stuff.
Sure.
And there are a lot of things I think that you look back on and you go, oh, I should have said this, I should have done this.
Yeah.
But when you go back to try and rebuild like bonds or the relationship in general, it takes time.
Yep, it is.
It just takes time. It's not impossible. It's not going to happen in a day.
And sometimes less can be more. You know, like when Toru brought up the whole thing of, oh no, it's actually just getting worse because Aya was, being so like pushy about it, yeah, and that's his personality, but like that doesn't necessarily help when it's
just about you,
right? Yeah. Absolutely, and particularly in this situation where Yuki felt like he had been kind of abandoned by his big brother when all of this horrible stuff was happening to him, and his big brother just honestly thought that it's like, oh, he's kind of sick, it's bad, okay, I'm sorry, he'll be fine, but okay, I keep doing my thing, right?
Yep.
And then suddenly it's like, oh, that actually.
No,
there was some real bad stuff going on.
He needed you there,
and also and you weren't there.
We got a visual element of what that looks like in the, like the literal and the theme sense. So there was a point where he remembers a point where Yuki went to grab his arm.
Yep.
And then he kind of pulled back. Now, there's a lot of things that you can use, like a small little visual to try and communicate like 1,000 words, right?
Yeah.
But I think the one that's most clearly communicated there was that there was a point where Yuki reached out and he was scorned. He was ignored.
Yep.
That created probably a mental block where he's like, I don't go to my brother for those kinds of things anymore.
Yep. And like,
oh boy.
Yeah. Also, I just have to say, I have a soft spot for characters named Yuki with gray hair going and reaching for the clothing of someone from behind. But, you know, yeah, so there was that. But also just the idea that, like, but the older sibling that is, like, when you're at that point where you're, like, you're allergic to your younger siblings, you're like, oh, no, you know, like, I gotta do my own thing, right? You know,
that's definitely, like, a young teen kind of
thing.
Like,
that's totally something that happens. Yeah. And seeing... and yeah, like we come from a big family, so I know that feeling, right? Where it's like, oh yeah, you have a sibling that's, you know, quite a bit younger than you, and it's like, you know, I don't necessarily want to hang out with you, right? And it's like, oh, yeah, and the hurt that can cause, and it's like, okay. Yeah. But then, in addition to all of this, we also got stuff with Toru's mom, where she starts opening up to him about her mom, and it's like, God, don't make me like this character that's dead any more than I already do. Right. Like, please, that's...
Yeah, the stuff that they talked about at the ramen place before they got there, Gyotza,
was great.
Was really good.
Like,
you could definitely feel that there was an aspect of Toru that resonated with Ayame, but it wasn't just that his listening to her mother's words of wisdom moved him, but it was the idea that she had the presence of mind to say something of that nature in this specific moment. I think there's a difference between someone having access to wisdom and versus knowing how and when to apply it. Because I think that there's an archetype, even in real life, where you have people that are wise, but they don't understand timing. So they just kind of say things that are wise, and there's no emotional connection to it.
Yeah, it's not like, here's the thing for you. It's just...
I'm going to say an anecdote about a thing.
Right.
And it's almost kind of, in a way, it's like the sad kind of older generation person who's just wanting to be heard and is used to being ignored. So they're just like, oh, someone might be listening, so I'm going to say it, and I'm not even going to think about whether or not I'm getting feedback that they're positively reinforcing this.
Which was kind of brought up with the whole thing of maybe that's why adults, you know, always seem so high-handed.
High-handed, yep. Yeah. But Toru listened and... said this once she had kind of a little gap in the conversation where it made sense to bring it up. And in some ways, it was something where she was primed to succeed a little bit because Ayame communicates a little bit through stories. Like, that seems to be his style of sharing some kind of, you know, point or some kind of emotional connection thing. Yeah, he loves the spotlight, but he also, I think, loves the idea of sharing these parts of his life because it's something important to him. Now, it's not necessarily important to anyone else listening.
Right.
So he needs to understand social, you know, tact and, you know, timing.
Right. Boundaries with regards to conversations and interactions and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and potentially not becoming the high-handed adult that you are kind of bringing up is that if you just keep monologuing at that.
Right.
Eventually people are just going, oh, what were you saying?
Now, from the standpoint of the episode, I gotta say, that character trait of waxing very quickly is super helpful, because this episode felt like a big episode.
It did.
Like even though it was basically just the introduction of a character, there wasn't even like a ton of conflict surrounding it. I mean, there was, but like it was very much relegated to this close knit group of characters, you know, or spatially, you know, even if not relationally. But because he was talking so fast, it felt like when he went on to those stories and we actually showed the stories happening, that felt like stories. Things that where it's like, oh yeah, we're going to do the backstory for this character in their introduction as a story that's being told, but it's also going to be things where he'll tell like 3 stories and each one will take like 2 minutes or something. And it's like, okay, all right, I love it, right? That gives us a picture's worth 1,000 words kind of a thing, right? And by being able to see this happen as he's telling it, it's like, yep, we totally get who this guy is, right? Cool. And it's also super entertaining.
Yeah.
But
I loved some of the subtle little things that they threw down here. Some of them were for comedy. Some of them were for something else, I think. So Shigure admitted that they had gone to the Pleasure District so many times that they were bored of that scene.
Yeah.
Casually by the way that he said it. And I loved that they caught on to that because I was like, Shigure. And then like, he just admitted to something extreme. I'm like, yes, he did. Yeah. But also the idea that if Ayame is very much a, I go chaos. Oh, Hattori's here. Oh, well, I listen to everything Hattori says.
Mm-hmm.
Hattori is the one with the lost love that is somewhat lost his ability to then love ever again.
Mm-hmm.
In a weird way, there's this kind of almost...
tragic, maybe?
Well, yeah, kind of tragic, but also just like disappointed kind of thing of something lost. Because you see these three, right? Shigure, Hattori, and Ayame, and you think about them together, and you go... wow.
Yep.
Poor Hattori. And literally what you said. Like you just literally like, Hattori, you had it rough, man.
Yeah.
But I guess friends are important, so you had some friends.
Right.
But the idea that Ayame might even just be like in love with Hattori.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's what they were saying, yeah.
But nope. Mm-hmm. Never gonna get reciprocated.
It's like the ultimate not star-crossed lovers. That's very different. But like it's for very strong reasons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Both of them are not able to be happy in that sense, right? Like they're still happy in their regular lives and stuff, right? But with Hattori, well, you know, we saw his tragic backstory, right? You know, it's like yeah, of course, right? And then for Aya, well, yeah, you know, the person that you love went through all of that. It makes sense that they wouldn't necessarily be, you know, up for loving again. So, yeah.
The more and more we get introduced to the Soma family members, the more and more I realize that this is like setting up some potentially premium soap opera stuff because we have relationships upon relationships upon relationships where it's all connected and convoluted, and oh my god,
the slightest plucking of a string from one of them
sends a ripple effect. So in a way, Toru was the chord that was strummed on the guitar, and it sent the sound wave out to all the Soma family members, and they're all eventually coming their way here, and it's very meta to see it that way.
Right.
But it is kind of what's happening. But I love the distinction here that the reason why he came by was because he heard that Akito and Yuki had a bit of an encounter here.
Right.
Now, I want to double check here. But was this also an instance of where he heard this from someone else? Like, potentially Haru? Because Haru was also the one that it seemed to be the one that sent...
that's possible.
I was getting that vibe that Haru was the one that sent Ayame over. Where was the part where we saw... I think it was at the school. Yeah, it was right here. So, so Aya is visiting. And since it's New Year's, Aya lives outside. Okay, so we knew that Aya was visiting.
Right, okay, so yeah, it's probably, maybe...
Oh, right. And then he sees Yuki and he goes, huh? Yuki? Is he sick? Oh, right, I understand the situation.
Right, so he read into what was going on very quickly.
And he went and grabbed Hattori. Right. That's why Hattori showed up.
Right. Yes.
So
exactly.
He didn't send Ayame over.
But he probably Ayame probably found out from one of the people there, right? And and then was like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and I love that because it's something where as the fact that when Aya talked about how I don't know if I necessarily regret it, but I'm looking to I'm seeking repentance, basically. Like I'm looking to repent, basically. I thought that was a really good distinction because it's the I'm sorry that I wasn't there for him when he needed it, and yet who's to say if I actually seek change versus if I seek the removal of the negative consequences of my actions, right? Like, do I want things to be better between myself and Yuki, or do I want to, do I want to actually like pursue a serious relationship with my brother? Right. And the idea that he originally came here because of Akito, that's showing how he has grown from the past. He's trying to make good on it. He's
trying to repent.
But it's also something where he never actually told Yuki that was the case, because it would be very easy for him to use that as kind of like a showboating, because he totally puts things on display. He says too much, right?
Yeah.
It would have been easy for him to try and use that as leverage to say, see, I'm putting in the effort. But no.
But he didn't.
He didn't.
Yeah.
Partially because, well, it seems he's just fine. Toru, you really are helping here.
Keep being friends with him.
Yep, keep being friends with him.
Huge deal.
But at the same time, maybe he doesn't want to do it that way. So yeah.
Really, really sweet stuff.
Yep.
But yeah, then I loved that Yuki went over to Haru. It was like, thanks for looking out for me. He's like, yeah, I got you, buddy.
Also, that part where Haru just walks up to Yuki and he's just like, oh, yes, what is the matter? That was great.
Yes. Yeah, I think this episode was just a really, really wholesome one, except for the absolute chaos that is Ayame. I was enraptured in the stories.
Oh, yeah.
Because the thing is that they're all true. He's not exaggerating the stories. But the thing that's funny is that the way he's telling the stories is as if he has perfect memory of those stories.
Right, even the reactions and the disappointment and the, oh God, please just whatever, I need to go, from like the principal or whatever. Like it like he feels like the kind of person where it's the no. Some people could exaggerate their stories. I just live an exaggerated life. That way I don't need to make up anything for my stories.
Right, exactly.
I live the kind of life where I get crazy stories.
Yeah. It's one of those things where, for me, I think I sometimes have a little bit of distrust of people when they share stories, because people generally tend to
put themselves in the best light.
They tend to put themselves in the best light, and they tend to warp their stories a little bit when it comes to details to make them seem more dramatic, especially when people are in story sharing, like escalation.
You're right,
mode,
it's showmanship.
It's dumb. Yeah. It's so dumb. But I loved that his stories are so ridiculously showboating, not based on the warping of the truth necessarily, but on something that is so ridiculous that people would probably not feel comfortable sharing those stories if they were someone, like, if they were another person.
Oh, yeah.
So, we just get the joy of getting to hear and see them. Like,
also, I gotta say,
God.
Yeah, that was all fantastic. Something that I just would be remiss if I forgot to mention this is Hana. Someone's coming for your Max Hair Game award trophy. Because I gotta say, damn. Like his hair is incredible. Like that's like majestic and like whoa.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hana's gonna be like, I sense waves that are most chaotic and yet harmonious.
I feel like
meet this person, and then
there would be some weird negative universe explosion.
Right. Hana meeting.
They would so not get along.
No. What if they did though? What if they did?
No.
Now there's an age gap issue.
No. Not talking.
I'm just meaning like.
But just personalities in a social situation, how would they carry conversations? Because I feel like it's antimatter and matter. It's just I don't know.
No. I think the difference is that she's the reader, so she'll understand it. She'll sense the waves beyond the madness.
Well, either way, even if not, they can talk about hair products.
That's true. Until he reveals his
sex
shop that he basically gets
No, he wouldn't reveal the sex shop. He'd just be like, these are excellent products, from my shop, right? For hair or whatever. I don't know,
Yeah, and I don't think he sells hair gel. I think he sells lubricants of a different kind.
Probably.
Yeah.
That is probably... Yeah, and Hana already figured out what his shop is.
So, y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access. You can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
next time.